Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. Going to be talking about something that happened to me a short while ago, um, involving different extraterrestrial groups. If you feel triggered in any way by hearing about like ET attacks or ET implants, then I would say don't listen to this video today. Check out another one of my videos instead. Um, But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So I have a guide. His name is Kwam Ya. He is from, I can never say it right, Bootes. He's from the Bootes planet. And he's awesome. He does like amazing healings. He's the one that did the healing or whatever it was, the adjustment on me recently that really improved my psychic ability. And so the other day I asked for him to come and just get me like a tune-up because I was kind of feeling ugh. And so I was like, that's who I want. I want Kwame to come help me. Um, and so he started with my third eye, and there were blocks in there, and they weren't from trauma, they were from attacks. So he started working like above my eyebrows, and I suddenly see myself with white skin with a hint of blue to it. Human in appearance, except no hair. Um, and then, of course, the skin color is different. There's no whites to my eyes, and there's like ridges on my forehead. And those ridges help with psychic ability, is what I'm told. And so I was like, ooh, I was like all fascinated by it. So the being that I just described to you is how beings on Antares look. Antares, Antares. I'm a female, and I see myself laying down the same way I'm in real life. In real life, I'm like laying down in my bed, and Kwame helping me out. So I see myself laying down, and I see a green mantid standing over me in this vision. And it's interesting. So this is a past life that I've had with Kwam Ya. So in real life, I'm human. He's from Bootes. In the vision, I'm from Antares, and he's a green mantid. And so in the vision, he's standing over me, healing me, just like he is in this one, which is kind of cool. So he was a mantid then, but he was still my healer. He is energetically. This is funny. When I wrote the, sometimes when I write these notes down, especially with him, he's so high vibration that for some reason when I'm with him, it's almost like I'm in a trance. And so now that I'm going back to my notes to read these to you, I didn't remember being from Antares. I don't remember any of this. So if you see me make faces, it's because I'm like, what? Because I literally don't remember, which is kind of freaky. So I wrote down, he is energetically giving me those ridges on my forehead. That's amazing. I didn't remember that. It seems to be used for obtaining precise information at a distance. I'm hoping this will work for me later. He's adjusting something at my temples, and it made the room feel like it like went like this, like it waved a little bit, like a dizzy feeling. And he tells me he wants me to focus on that past life while he works. So there must be a reason for that, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, okay. And so I see again in the vision the mantid equivalent of Kwamya, and he's got like, because they don't have hands, they have like these little appendages, just like exactly like a mantid, as far as I can tell. I guess I'll have to research praying mantises more. Um, but he's got his little appendage, and he's got his like hand equivalent on my face, and just lovingly. And so I'm like, oh, we're like partners in this lifetime. So I'm like, okay, I got it. Um, and he's he starts working. Oh, and that's in real life. He starts working on my solar plexus in real life, and it was like really relaxing, really comforting. So it's like, oh, this is great. It's like a massage, but with your solar plexus. And I wrote down, it feels like he put a little sun in there and it's all warm. And then he's back at my head on the top now, looking at my brain again. I can see what he's looking at. There are these teeny tiny silver metal pieces in there. So those shouldn't be there. So that's what it looks like when there is an implant from an extraterrestrial that should not be there. Although it's funny because my implants from extraterrestrials that should be there also look metal to me, but they always look, they're always part of like a piece of equipment that's tied into the right side of my face. I have a lot of like stuff from my head to my chin on the right side. And by the way, guys, I got burned on my oven recently, so yikes. Sorry. So I'm gonna have this like scary red mark for a while until that thing heals. Um, but anyways, so the implants look like these little tiny metal pieces in my brain. They should not be in your brain. Um, this was part of an attack that happened to me today. So when I had Kwame come over to heal me, it was evening time. Earlier that day, I'd had an attack and I hadn't quite realized it. So I'll tell you what happened. I didn't feel anything or see anything. Just suddenly, at the end of the day, I lost my ability to access the Akashic records. I thought I was just too tired. Nope. So he's pulling out those metal pieces, and I'm just going to tell you what they look like. I don't know if the visions I'm given are literal, figurative, both. I mean, I don't know. So what I'm shown at least are like these teeny tiny metal cubes. They're a little more rectangular than cube-like, but they're very tiny. They're like the size of like a little pinky nail. Um, and so there was a bunch of little ones all scattered throughout my brain tissue, of course. And they are like tiny robots almost. So I can see it's not like just this random piece of metal, it's this intelligent mini computer essentially, where it knows how to receive information and obey that information, and it knows how to retrieve information from me and send it out. Um, so, so this is happening. I'm seeing these metal things, and I hear myself say, "There's something in my head that they want." Just like, what the heck? What am I saying? Whoever put these in my head clearly wants some information out of my head. Um, so I remember something Metatron showed me a few weeks prior, and this is gonna seem weird too. This is they again give me a visual. They give me a vision of this, and I completely believe that it is symbolic and not literal. So what Metatron showed me a few weeks ago, he shows me these little tiny glass vials that are stored inside of my body. And these little glass bottles have a message or have information inside each one. And the message inside each bottle is different. Um, I was aware when he showed it to me that each of these pieces of information were different and they belonged each to a different person, and that I was supposed to give each one of these to the right person at the right time. Um, I have information. I totally forgot everything I wrote, so now I'm just going to read it to you guys, and it's going to be new to me too. I have information in me that I'm supposed to send as a download to others, but I don't know who or how or why. But it sounds like it's important information, and they know I have it somewhere. They failed, though, because I'm not conscious of any of this information, so they can't get it from my brain. It's stored elsewhere. And so I can feel Kwame like picking around in my brain because there's little tiny metal things, and he's got to like be real gentle taking them out because it's brain tissue, so you can't have it damage anything in there. It's not like it's just in your arm and they could just pull it out. Um, so he's pulling them out, and they're all like identical little robots. He's going, he is carefully going through and removing each one, almost like removing parasites, is how I describe it, and it's probably a perfect way to describe it. So he's doing this, and I wanted to talk to him, but I was just getting sleepy. So I get tired, I fall asleep. In the early morning hours, I see with my third eye an extraterrestrial that I've never seen before. So I always try to use like anything I can as a reference point. Even if it's something I'm not super familiar with, like I've referenced Lord of the Rings before and I'm not really very familiar with it. I'm going to reference another movie I've never seen, but I've seen it's famous enough that a lot of other people have seen it. So I forget, I don't know if it was like the 80s or the 90s, probably the 90s, where a movie came out called Alien with Sigourney Weaver. Anyways, so early morning hours with my third eye, I can see an ET in my space. Sorry for the cough, guys. And looks very similar to the alien from the movie Alien. Black. He didn't have like mouths inside mouths or heads inside mouths or whatever that creature had. It wasn't like that. It was just the one head. Um, and it was much wider. It was very wide at the top. It was like it extended out probably like this far. Um, Reminded me of the hammerhead sharks, almost like this must be a hybrid between the hammerheads and something else that I don't even want to know what it is, to be honest. But black, the thing that I really noticed was this really long black tail, and it really freaked me out, to be honest. I've got a cough drop now, so hopefully that'll prevent me from coughing, but it will make me look like I have a cough drop in my mouth. So this ET has a long tail. His head is wide. He was up in my face. He was actually trying to scare me. He was trying to scare me. And to be totally honest, he did elicit a little bit of a fear reaction from me because he looked scary. So I called for my guides and I decided to just get up for the morning because the last thing you want to do when you have an ET in your face that's kind of scary is like hang out in bed longer and maybe fall asleep and maybe have them there the whole time or whatever. So I just got up for the day. I was so busy with clients that day that I had no time to ask anything about this race. So I asked Kwame to come and heal me again later. And when I'm being healed by Kwame, I ask Metatron about those new ETs. I don't remember any of this, so I'm going to read it to you. Those vials in me are what they were after. I hate the feeling I get when I say that to you guys. It's validation, but like, it kind of spooks me a little bit. Those vials in me are what they were after, but they didn't find them. I'm supposed to give the vials to timekeeper / time jumper individuals. I call them time jumpers. I'll talk to you about those guys in a second. but each has a different message. It's not the right time yet to give out the messages. So those ETs, I'm told, are from a planet that Metatron is referencing as Sub X. He says they live underground. And so I'm like all serious with Metatron. I'm like, what galaxy is this part of? Like, I just want to figure out who these guys are. And Metatron literally says, in a galaxy far, far away. Like, he's cracking jokes. And I'm like, I am dead serious, Metatron. Quit playing with me. And so he gives me this galaxy name. I actually like Googled a bunch of galaxies. I'm like, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? And so he references UGC 2885 galaxy. Yep, validation. And I told him, thank you. Like, what else can you tell me about them? So he says, guys, and I'm sorry because the information I get sometimes I have no understanding of, and I hate giving you information that I haven't processed yet. But here I am doing it. So Metatron says, they are part of a parallel universe. They are in 2D. They do not have physical bodies. They are the most similar to demons on this planet. And then so I asked Metatron, if someone dies here and gets stuck in the 2D equivalent in the astral realm, because the astral realm is 1D, 2D, 3D. So if you die, you go into the astral realm, you don't go back to creator, you're in 2D. I was like, could you run into these guys? And he said yes. And then I cussed. I used the F word. And then he said, because I was like, F. And he said, F indeed. But we were using the actual words. I feel a bit naive right now because I'm realizing how much more there is in the astral realm than what I'm aware of. I realize I always knew that I was super protected. I always knew that I was super sheltered from clearly seeing everything, really. When I go into the astral realm to do work, almost always they block 100% of everything from me other than exactly who I'm looking for. Because all the other stuff in there is traumatic and unpleasant. And there's no need for me to see that. I just need to do my work when I'm in there. And that's always been Metatron's philosophy with all of my work I've ever done with him. He never unnecessarily shows me the truth. He only shows me the truth I need in the time I need it. So even when I pull up past lives from the Akashic records, he only gives me exactly as much detail as I need to communicate the trauma. He never gives me excessive details. He never allows me to watch the whole thing. He will flash a couple pictures at me so I understand this is a murder, this is a rape. He does not let me watch it in its entirety because that would be just unnecessarily harmful, and that's just not how he is. So it's just kind of freaky knowing that these 2D things could be in any 2D space, but it makes sense. It logically makes sense. It's just freaky. So Metatron told me more. He said those beings, those black aliens, they are the result of primordial dark energies that never had light energy incorporated into them. They have consciousness, but not souls. They were not taken from the one energy, which is creator. Creator took pure dark energy from himself and pure light energy, excuse me, pure light energy from himself and built the cosmos. Fire and ice. These are primordial energies. These are the building blocks that were used to create dragon energy and unicorn energy. So there's all these ancient energies that belong in existence that are not duplicates of everything of God, because we are duplicates. We're exact replicas of God. Um, but there's these other energies that they're intense, really, really, really intense, because it's very pure energy, and it's not, I don't know if I have words for this. It's not, I don't have words for this. Jeez. I'm asking right now weird questions. I'm like, do unicorns and dragons have souls? And they're saying no. So they have consciousness, but not souls, just like the demons, just like those 2D ETs, just like the energies that were used to create from the beginning. I'm probably going way too deep on a tangent right now, so I'm going to back up my train because I'm going into somewhere that is like its own video, and I don't know enough about it to sit here and channel for it in the moment, so I'm going to back up. So, different combinations of darkness and light or fire and ice yield different results. These are what the Titans were created from. And see, I didn't remember this conversation, so I couldn't tell you guys this. So I asked him, Titans don't have souls? And he says, no, they are energies. Anyway, so that's a whole nother topic, right? Energies, soulless energies. That's its own book, I'm sure. Um, okay. And then so I told him, okay, so since we're off on a tangent anyways, um, what galactic race is Kwame? We're just like having weird conversations. And then so he was telling me, oh, he's like Bootian. And I was like, oh, never mind. That's hard to say. Never mind. Um, but that was our conversation just like died down after that. Normally that'll happen because stuff is when it's a really intense conversation and it's all new information, he tends to give it to me in like a little chunk. And then I need to back away from it and take time to try to process it. Although I didn't process this stuff at all. Um, so this is so that's what I have from my experience. I actually want to talk to you guys a little bit more though. I want to talk to you about implants, extraterrestrial implants. And I apologize for this super distracting, super annoying cough drop, but it is preventing me from coughing. So thank you, cough drop. Let's talk about extraterrestrial implants. I didn't plan to talk about this, so this conversation might get interesting, and I'm going to have to be very careful because I don't want to get too detailed with this, to be honest with you. So, extraterrestrial implants, I've learned a lot about them recently. I had a client recently who showed me a 3D implant that had been taken out of their body, and it blew my mind because I am very I am very naive and new to this spiritual thing. And you guys are probably laughing at me, right? Um, but I very much am. I have not spent my life looking into this. I have not researched this. I am learning things as I go. And I don't make an effort to go and learn what other people have put out there already. And there's a reason for that. I don't, I have access to the encyclopedia. I have access to Metatron. I have access to the answers, and it makes more sense for me to seek out the answer authentically without having any background information from anyone else versus me studying up what everyone else has already put out there and then maybe making a bias about us, certain things when it's not actually true. So this client presents a 3D metal implant that they had removed from them. And so I started talking to Metatron. So I learned about implants, and I want to share some of that with you right now. So some of that information is that implants start off being energetic. So, like for me, when I am attacked and when I get an implant, it's energetic, right? It's an energetic, it looks, to my vision, it looks like it's metal, but it's an energetic implant. If that implant stays in my energetic field for a very long time and is not removed, it will manifest from energetic eventually into 3D. So it will go from, I don't know, it's like trauma. It's just like trauma. If you have trauma in your energetic field, if you have a trauma block somewhere in your energetic field, let's say, let's just pretend, it's in your throat chakra. Trauma in your throat chakra. And it's been there and it's been there and it's been there and it's been there and it's not getting cleared. And it's a really big trauma. Eventually, your energetic trauma will yield a physical result. Eventually, it will yield problems with your physical body in the equivalent location. A lot of times, this ends up popping up for people as, it depends on where it's located, but it's potentially the reason that people are seeing tumors and cancer. Um, if it's impacting your heart chakra, it can be doing things like changing your blood pressure, um, giving you a heart attack, giving you, you know, something like that, giving you an arrhythmia, changing the rhythm of your heart. Um, and that's not immediate, but that is a fact that things in the energetic world will eventually manifest in the physical world. We use this concept to try to manifest the things we want, right? We think about the things we want. We visualize the things we want because eventually it will manifest as tangible. The same concept, it's just, to our detriment instead of helping us. So that's one thing I wanted to share with you guys. My bigger point of sharing this with you, because I don't want you guys to go away from this feeling like, oh, this is like so scary and like we don't know anything about this and what's going to happen and what are they doing? Like, why are they using these implants? And actually, let me talk about that. So, what I'm finding is that the reason these implants are being used, and let me check on this actually. Okay, multiple reasons. Um, okay, very infrequently they're used for tracking. I know when I was like silly me, I went on like the internet and I was trying to like Google about this stuff just for fun, not really, just to see what I would pull up. And a lot of people seem to believe that these were tracking devices. And Metatron is saying very infrequently are they utilized as a tracking device. It actually doesn't even really make sense because we are super easy to track with all other kinds of methods. They wouldn't need to stick a piece of metal in us. Um, More often than not, and this is a really broad answer, this is not the specific answer. The broad answer is we're being given implants to interfere with our energetic field, your aura, your soul, your true body, that energy body. It's to interfere with your true body, the energy body, in order to keep it in a lower vibration, in order to prevent it from ascending. Because we all know what happens when humans ascend. The game gets changed. So this is their attempt to hold back ascension. So they're like, we'll just throw some metal pieces in there. They'll never know about it. It's, you know, because here's the thing, if they're throwing metal pieces in my brain, if nobody was getting rid of them, probably I'm gonna start getting headaches, right? Oh, I'm getting headaches. Oh, I have a headache. I don't feel like channeling because I have a headache again today. It'd be something like that. And then over time, it's like, oh, like you have like brain cancer, whatever it is. So it's just stuff in the 3D world that's going to trip you up and slow you down to getting where you want to go. Um, it doesn't have to be as physical as I just described it. It can be more like impacting your emotional body is what Metatron is saying. So making you more likely to feel irritated or angry or sad. So it's anything they can do to keep you in a lower vibration. Um, so that's why we have them. The other thing I wanted to tell you about just implants in general is that having this client with a 3D implant immediately inspired the need for there to be a service that we offer through my business, my and Susan's business, Orange Light Energy. So we are currently getting information from Metatron on how to set up a service that will remove energetic implants and it will destroy 3D implants. So we're getting that together. It's actually going to be available probably pretty soon. It seems like a very high priority for Metatron. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there that, hey, I'm getting attacked. I'm getting implants putting me. This is the new information I have about implants and what's going on with them. And I really want to give the message of you don't have to be afraid of this. You don't have to be scared of this. Any attack, anything that the darkness can come up with to try to slow us down, it's just kind of a joke, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we have access as a community to the archangels. We have access to ascended masters. We have access to creator. So at the end of the day, there's always an answer. There's always a solution to everything. So they can give us a problem, but our guides can help us find ways around it. There's always a way around it. There's there's always a solution. So just know that you don't have to be scared of bad things happening, because if for some reason you're feeling like something's off with you, you can always check with someone like me and I can find out, does this person have an implant? Is there a problem? Is there this going on? Is there that going on? And you can get help for it if you need help for it. Or maybe it's just your fears and you just need someone to tell you, hey, nothing's there. You don't have to worry about it. So just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. And this message has already gone long enough, so I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I'm sure I will bring this up again in the future as I learn more. And when the service is properly available, I'll announce it in some way, either as part of a video or maybe even just like a community post on YouTube. So I'll let you guys know. But until then, I will see you all later. Bye bye.